Hey you guys, Lena K here, and in this video I'm going to share with you 4 essential keys for leadership and getting promoted. Now you can apply these 4 essential keys in every area of your life. Specifically though, today I'm going to speak about the workplace because I get a lot of messages asking me about this specific topic, about leadership, how to move up in the ranks, in a company, how to get promoted. And so I have compiled these 4 essential keys. This is exactly the steps that I used in every single job to get promoted within 6 months. Okay, and a lot of my clients and people that I share this with, when they actually apply it, they get promoted within like 3 weeks, 4 weeks. It's absolutely phenomenal because it works. This makes you stand out as the leader that you are. You become the lion and not the sheep. So let's dive in, shall we? The first essential key that all great leaders have is a positive mental attitude. This one is so important that no amount of work ethic, no amount of work hours, even if you've been in the company for 10 years, if you don't have a positive mental attitude, you're going to really, even if you get promoted, you're going to just be a manager. You're not really going to be a leader. I remember when I was promoted, I was in my early 20s. I was in business banking and I was promoted to be a team leader. And I remember one of the guys in the team, he was in my team, so I was his leader. He had been in the company for over a decade and he was much older than me. And he was like, I don't understand why you've got this position and not me. I've been in the company more than 10 years. And I thought, well, it's because your attitude stinks. And that man will never ever get promoted because it doesn't matter that he shows up every day. He just doesn't have the right attitude for a leader. And so the first essential key is to develop a positive mental attitude. Now, one way to develop this very quickly is by going on a 7-day mind detox. I've got a video about that. You can check that out. That's where basically you do no complaining, okay, for 7 days. And every time you do complain, you start again from day 1. And this goes for complaining about the world, the workplace, yourself, other people. It's really such a simple but effective tool to help you raise your levels of awareness, because leadership is an attitude. It really, really is. And that's why in the beginning I said, okay, specifically we're going to talk about you applying leadership skills in the workplace, but you can be a leader, without being in a job. You can be a leader in your career, in your family, in your community. It's about being the lion amongst the sheep. It's about having that positive mental attitude, that leadership attitude. So that means that you are going to be more solution orientated than problem orientated. This is going to mean that when you experience problems in your company, you're not going to complain and moan about them. You're going to try and look for the opportunity where you can improve, where you can be an asset to the company. And so, sometimes in corporations, especially if you're working in a corporation, people don't like change. So whenever a change is implemented within teams or within companies, people love to complain and there's always a backlash. Don't be that person. Don't be that person just because everybody else is. And so being a leader, first and foremost, you have to develop a positive mental attitude. The second step, which is really important, because no matter how positive you are, if your work ethic is not up to par, then you're not really that likely to be given the position. Even though I've experienced so many times people message me and say that they've just they've been working really hard and someone else has been given the promotion, someone who doesn't even know what they're doing. They don't even know the ins and outs, the nuts and bolts of how things work, but they're just very positive. And I'm like, that might be why they've got it. They've got a positive mental attitude. They have a leadership attitude. They don't get disgruntled when there's a challenge. But that kind of a leader, they will definitely come up against problems if they don't learn quickly. There's nothing wrong with starting a position. Loads of great leaders, they will, of course, they'll start a position and they don't know the ropes, and that's fine. They will learn. But the first key was the first key for a reason. The second key is really, really, it is essential, is your work ethic. This means you show up on time. You can't be a leader. How can you be a leader if you're the one who's always late? Why would they promote you? So it's about showing up on time, having integrity, about thinking to yourself, how can I be an irreplaceable asset to this company? How can I outwork everyone? How can I make sure I arrive on time? If I need to, I stay late without complaining. Even come in early sometimes. Why not come in earlier than what you're even expected to come in for? So this is what your work ethic is so important. Work ethic, if I can say it properly, is so important. Think about outworking everybody, doing what you can do to the best of your ability. And it's really about the quality of your work too. So really hold pride in the work that you do. Put all of your energy and add passion into it, because passion is a fuel like no other. Okay, people can sense when you put passion into things. And even if you think that your leaders and your bosses and whoever else is around you, even if you think they're not looking, oh yes, they are. So it's really important that you really put in the work ethic, which means just doing extra, showing them that, you know, you're doing extra because you want to, that you're an asset because you're the one who's the most reliable person. They can rely on you to have a good attitude when there's changes. They can rely on you to stay behind and help out if something comes up, there's a deadline or something. They can rely on you to be that member of the team who says, you know what, yeah, that's fine, I'll sacrifice this evening or whatever it is, I'm with you guys, let's get the job done. That's what we're talking about in terms of work ethic. And that might also mean that, you know, you might need to develop some skills, whether internally they have courses and trainings, or whether you can develop your skills externally. So it's really important that you put in the work ethic, because many times, you know, I remember one of my clients, he was talking to me about wanting a promotion in his workspace, and he wanted to be promoted to one of the managers. And I said, well, act like a manager. Are you acting like a manager right now? No. Do you come in late sometimes? Occasionally. Well, it's not good enough. If you were a manager and you were late, everybody would be waiting for you to open up the establishment, because the manager has the keys. You have to be really, really reliable. And your work ethic, you have to care about it. The third essential key here is confidence. Now, I've got a whole separate training on confidence, and by all means check that out, because I'll share with you the 10 steps to increasing confidence, just practical things that you can apply. In a work environment, when we're talking about leadership, just think of it this way. If you don't have confidence in yourself, how can you be promoted? How can you be promoted into a position of leadership, or even be just promoted to another rank because you lack confidence in your current position? How can you be taken up to another level? Now, this is something you can develop within yourself. Check out the video on the 10 steps to increase your confidence, but also think of confidence in terms of your communication. How is your body language? Are you like slouched, or do you walk with, your posture straight and confident? Because over 92% of communication is actually non-verbal. So you're communicating a lot about yourself without even speaking, just the way that you walk in. How you walk in, the way that you speak in meetings, the way that you speak up. So one really, really great way to actually build your confidence is by speaking up in meetings. You know, if there's a meeting and afterwards, you know, they say, okay, does anyone have any questions? Or they're rounding up, be the one who asks a question, or be the one who actually engages during meetings and team meetings. Be the person who makes suggestions. Be the person who is okay with expressing themselves. And, you know, having confidence, this is where you might want to tread carefully, but if you have confidence and the work ethic and the positive mental attitude, so if you're usually always positive, you have leverage when, let's say, something isn't going well and you want to bring that to the attention of the establishment, company, of your team, of your manager, of your seniors. This is when your words will have leverage, because you're not the person always complaining. Oh, no. You work hard and you have a positive attitude. Therefore, when you bring a problem to the table, they're more likely to listen to you. Whereas if someone's just always complaining and moaning, that's just their personality. When they complain and moan about things, it's not really going to create that much of a change, because it's just seen as that person's personality. It's just the way it is. And so have a think about how you communicate. Have a think about that. It's really, really important. And so you can develop your confidence from the inside, but you can also increase your confidence with things like speaking up. Things like, you know, if they need a volunteer to do something, or they need someone as a representative, or any public speaking opportunities at all, do it. Do it, do it, do it. Because action will always help you to develop confidence. Action breeds confidence. That was a great quote that stayed with me for many years. It still stayed with me to this day. I'm sharing it with you right now. I used to write that quote and stick it on my walls. Action breeds confidence. Think about it. Another thing about confidence I just want to mention is that sometimes people lack confidence because they're just not that experienced or skilled in what they do. So what I would suggest is develop those skills. Okay, work on your craft, learn about it, really take genuine interest in it. And you know, if there's some skills that you can touch up, if you can have them developed within the company, and you can ask them, hey, is there any courses that I can go on to do with A, B, C? Are there any courses internally that I can go on? If there is, great. If not, then, you know, be proactive. Find something outside of work that you can do that can help you to develop your leadership skills, your confidence, the specific skills that you need. Maybe it's using Excel, okay? Maybe it's using Excel. To be honest, there's so much free training as well online these days. So maybe you're not that confident. I had a client one time, she said that she wasn't that confident. She was great at being a leader, people communicating, but she wasn't that confident in the technical aspect of things. And so I said, well, one of the most simplest solutions is to just jump on a course, you know, see what courses are available, jump on a course and learn. And so that's exactly what she done. And after the course, you know what? She was that little bit more confident. So the fourth and final key, which is really, really important, because I really believe that the best leader is the one who is most aware. And so the fourth essential key for you to develop your leadership skills, for you to be the best leader that you can be, and for you to get promoted, is absolutely awareness, is to raise your level of awareness. And so there's a few ways you can do that. One of my favorite ways is called the CCTV method. And I use this a lot, and I didn't really realize what I was doing until much later when I reflected upon my actions. And how would I get promoted all the time in any field, by the way? I have no problem changing from one lane, one industry to another. No problem whatsoever, because I apply these rules. I know that no one is going to outwork me in terms of my mindset, in terms of the passion that I bring into whatever I do. You know, even if it's a part-time job that you have, bring passion into it. So with awareness, the CCTV method, let me not go off track. The CCTV method is where you imagine there's a camera on the ceiling and it's observing you. The camera is looking at you. And the person behind the camera is you. You are actually observing yourself. You are looking at yourself, but not just your behavior, your emotions, the way that you communicate with others, so your thoughts, emotions, behavior. Just observe yourself. Just imagine there's always a camera. How would you hold yourself? That's what I do with when I think about my clients and people in the LK club. It helps me to keep my integrity, you know, the fact that the person who I say I am on camera is the same person that I am at home with my family, with my husband. I might be a little bit crazier. You know, we're also multifaceted, but ultimately what you see is what you get. And so when you meet me in person, a lot of people, I love the fact that a lot of people say to me, you're exactly how you are on camera. I'm like, good, that's what I want. That's really good. And so the CCTV method, also look, emotional intelligence is really, really important. When you're a leader, you just can't afford to be reactive. You can't afford to get emotional about things, especially if you're talking about moving up in terms of promotion, especially if that promotion involves leading other people. You cannot be emotional about it, because that means you might be a manager, but you're not going to be a leader. And so using emotional intelligence. Now, I shared a very, very wonderful tool that I use, my clients use, called the emotional scale. I shared this in the self-mastery webinar that I just uploaded last week. And so I'm going to put the link to that below, so you can check that out as well. I'll put the links for the confidence video, for that video, and the 7-day mind detox. I'll put all the videos, all the links below, so you can check them out. But it's really, really important for you to reflect each day on your emotional management, your emotional control, because a leader is not someone who gets emotional at everything. They're proactive. And so having that level of awareness and having a tool where you can actually measure how well you do in this area is so, 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 so useful. Another way of raising your level of self-awareness is by making sure you are really mastering yourself. So before you can master anything, you have to master yourself. And so whether it's somebody in a corporate environment, whether it's somebody who has their own business, I always make sure that they start to, before they start the day, they start to really do the things that are going to make sure they are at the peak of their awareness. How do I do that? But in the mornings, they have their morning routines. Before they give themselves to their workplace, to the world, to their family, to their business, they first take time to give to themselves. And so this is perfect to aligning, your mindset, getting your mind ready for the day, getting your body ready and tuned up for the day. Just your mind, body, soul, just being lined up and ready, feeling full and raring to go. I remember I run my own business now, but the job that I did have just over 2 years ago, I remember people used to ask me, why do you wake up so early? Because some people in my team, they would wake up an hour later or 2 hours after I'd wake up. And it's because I need time for me. Before I give anything to the world, I need that time for me. And so I used to wake up super early, wake up, do my exercising, put some candles on, do a bit of journaling, habits that really will make you the most aware, make you the most healthy. Okay, I've got videos on all of this, so I'll put the links below. But it's really important that with your awareness, the more that you commit to mastering yourself, becoming the best ideal that you can be, the better leader you're going to be, the more self-aware you're going to be. And so it's really important that you have the kind of habits. If you don't already have them, you can start now, because people will notice a difference. One of my clients, she's a mother, she's a stay-at-home mom, and just by her applying leadership skills, people have seen enormous transformations in her, from her in-laws to her staff, to her son, to her husband. They notice the difference within her, how she's just become a better person. She's just less reactive. She's just more self-aware. And so remember, the best leaders are the ones who are most aware. This is really about being, again, like I say, the lion and not the sheep. And so just make sure you're aware of not just yourself, your environment. Be aware of the senior staff, what is important to them. Just observe them. Observe the people in your team. Look at their weaknesses. Look at their strengths. Look at their different personalities. Just observe them. Not judge them. Observe them with no judgment. So you can have a higher awareness. You're not reacting to things. You can have a sense of, oh, okay, who's just here for the paycheck and who actually cares about the work that they do? Because what you want to do is differentiate yourself from everybody else in the team. You want your company to know that you're not there for the paycheck. Oh, no, you're not just there for the paycheck. You are an asset to their company. And they cannot replace you, because They can get someone to do the work, but they cannot ever replace your mindset. This is why people have invested in me in different jobs. They've taken a risk with me because my attitude gets me through the door, and I just need that one foot in the door, because I know once I'm in, this is who I am, and I'm going to put that passion into what I do. I'm going to come in with the best mental attitude, positive mental attitude that I can. I'm going to bring that in. I'm going to be infectious. Emotions are infectious, and so it's better that we're positive than negative. I know that I'm going to move up very, very quickly. I've had no problem going in at entry level with jobs. Entry level completely, the minimum. Getting my foot in the door, within 3 months, 6 months, I'm getting promoted. And this happens for my clients too. Because guess what? Over 90% of the people there in your company, they're just there for the paycheck. They want a promotion, but they're not going to get it because they're just there for the paycheck. It's the attitude that comes with it. And so if you can develop a positive mental attitude, not only will you get promoted, not only will people around you notice the difference, but people are actually going to want to be around you, and you are going to be an asset, not just for your company, but for the whole world. I mean, there is a ripple effect that we all have on each other. We're all entangled, we're all connected. Why not practice and commit to being the best version of yourself? Not just for the promotion, just because that's who you are. Before I finish, I just want to talk about 2 scenarios. So one scenario, in majority of the cases, this works. It actually works amazingly well and surprisingly very, very quickly, no matter what industry this seems to work. Because, well, positive emotions, put that together with a work ethic, you know, what we've spoken about today, positive mental attitude, your work ethic, your confidence, like authentic confidence, not arrogance, not vanity, authentic confidence, and awareness. These 4 keys, like, how can you not grow? How can you not be promoted? But in some scenarios, sometimes just the company you're in, they lack leadership. They just lack, principles, or they lack certain values. And so sometimes, no matter how good you are at all of these 4 things, you will never get promoted within a company that just doesn't value you. Just knowing when to leave, knowing that, you know what, if your company is not appreciating you, if they're not noticing the work that you're doing, it's fine if the company is saying to you, you know, you need to develop in this area. Great, that's fantastic, you can develop. It's fine if your company say to you, okay, there are positions, and you apply for them and they tell you, okay, they're not going to give you the positions. Ask them why, get feedback. Why is that? You know, for you to actually be able to grow and get some valuable information from that. Most of the time, companies are not going to have a problem giving that information to you, letting you know where you went wrong so that you can improve in the future. But there are sometimes scenarios where you're just not in the right company for you. I'll give you an example. One of the members of my club, she was in a company for 10 years, and she was a team leader, but she really wanted to be moved up to become the next level manager in her company. And no matter how hard she worked, no matter how good her attitude was, she tried everything, and they just kind of kept her there for 10 years in the same position. And she was not getting promoted. And I said to her, look, when she told me a few things as well about her company, I said, they clearly lack leadership skills and they don't see the value in you, so look for another job. She was a bit resistant about this because obviously she's invested 10 years into this company. But eventually she kind of saw that, a lot of their values don't really match up with hers, and she doesn't feel that great about going to work anymore because of the way that a lot of the people behave. She started to apply for work. And I always say to people, if you want to look for work, apply for 100 jobs a week. About 4 months later, she got a great offer, a great interview with a great company. And to cut a long story short, within 6 months, she was actually in her new job, new city, fresh adventure. She got the job that she got was a higher position and she was higher paid as well. And what happened there is because she actually developed her own self-worth. Like, she's worth more than this company to be. Who cares if you've been there 10 years if they don't appreciate you? And so just know when to quit, okay? But always line up something else before you quit. So that would be the only scenario when I would say nothing's going to work because you're in the wrong company. They don't care about good leaders. I guess that's why it's called the rat race. They don't really care about that. They just want the machine spinning. They don't really care about the people spinning it. Get out of that kind of establishment, because there are companies who absolutely do care about their workers. So I hope you've enjoyed this video. Make sure you do check out the other videos. Let me know what you think of this. Until next time, you guys, lots of love and light and magic to you all. Thank you for subscribing. If you haven't, please subscribe. It would mean the world to me.